Hi there, in this video today I'll be talking about some of my experiences selling on TCGplayer.com. This video will primarily go over my sales data as well as some of the trends and patterns I've noticed regarding customer purchasing behaviors. Finally, I'll also be giving an analysis on some of the costs you might expect to experience yourself when selling on TCGplayer.com. This would include both platform and payment processing fees as well as some of the shipping and packaging fees you might expect to experience outside of the platform. Let's get into it. In the past 46 days, I made 119 sales. This is a relatively low number, but I believe some of the findings I made during this month and a half can be extrapolated towards higher volumes of sales. My initial inventory was about 1,800 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I sold about 400 cards across the 119 transactions, which I find to be quite extraordinary given that a lot of my cards are not meta and they are heavily played or damaged. There's certainly a large community with regards to TCG Player and Yu-Gi-Oh. You'll notice that Saturdays and Sundays are by far the most popular days. I saw about half the volume from Monday to Friday, which is, I guess, unsurprising given that people have more time on the weekends to shop for cards they like. In general, from the 119 sales I made so far, I generated $501 of revenue. The average product amount per sale, this excludes shipping, is $3.25, and the medium product amount is going to be $2.09. So a very strong right skew, but it's typically what you might expect, where you have very few customers buying very big ticket items, and the vast majority of your customers buy something that's not so expensive. What truly surprises me, however, is simply the amount of people that are willing to pay $1 shipping for a card that's less than $1. Typically, I tend to add more items to my card so that it sort of makes the shipping price worthwhile, but a good number of people are willing just to buy one card, a damaged card at that, that's worth a total of 20 cents, and pay $1 shipping for it. This is actually really good for you as a seller if you're trying to get feedback and positive reviews when you're starting. When you reach the point where you don't need more and more reviews, or it doesn't matter as much to you, these sales really do hurt you in terms of profitability, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So a broader distribution of my sales data, about 1/4 of all sales involved the customer paying more for shipping than they did for the product themselves, which again I find to be quite extraordinary. I would have imagined this number to be closer to less than 10% rather than 25%. This data is particular to my inventory because I have a lot of low ticket items. So obviously if you sell more expensive items, you won't see a large number of people buying cheap items. But that being said, the customer behavior, I think, is going to exist, regardless of what items you sell as an individual seller. I'm simply surprised that there's so many customers that are willing to pay $1 for shipping for an item that is pretty much worthless. About half my total sales involved a total product amount below $2, and only about 1/5 of my sales involved the product amount above $5. I'll now do an analysis of some of the costs, and I'll explain why a lot of these low ticket sales are actually very harmful for the profitability of your business because of the fixed costs. So with regard to the platform, you're going to be paying a 10.25% fee for TCG Player itself. You might get this number reduced slightly by about 100 basis points. So 9% if you are a large seller or somehow like a verified seller. I forget what the exact terms are, but it's going to be unreachable for the vast majority of new sellers. So if you're watching this, expect to pay about 10.25%. You're also going to be paying a variable 2.5% for the payment processing fee on every sale. So right off the bat, that's about 13%. Additionally, you're going to pay a fixed fee of 30 cents for each sale. That's again going to be for the payment processing fee. So that by itself is going to be 30 cents plus 13%. That does not include any of the other fees you're going to incur. So with regards to logistics and your packaging, the most expensive cost you're going to incur is going to be your postage fee. Typically, if you're selling a low number of cards, you're going to be doing so with a regular envelope. I usually use, again, just a standard size 10 envelope. If you're selling 1 to 4 cards, it usually falls within the weight range that allows you to use a single stamp when you're sending within the US. 5 cards is the breaking point, and above 6 cards, you're very likely going to have to pay for additional postage since it's going to be weighing more than 1 ounce. The second most expensive thing after your stamp is going to be your top loader. If you haven't seen one before, it looks like this, and it's rigged. It protects the card itself during the shipping process. It's going to run you typically 22 cents for one of these small ones. These fit, again, about 1 to 4 cards. I think 4 is actually pushing it. 3 cards is the recommended maximum, I'd say. If you're selling more than 5 cards at a time, there are larger top loaders that can fit those many cards. It's going to cost you a bit more than 22 cents. So with sleeves, you can put your cards in a penny sleeve. So as the name suggests, it's a cent a sleeve. So that's actually not too expensive. Envelopes are going to cost you about 4 cents. I buy mine $2.50 for $10 from Walmart. So if you ignore the taxes, that's about 4 cents per envelope. You're going to have to print a packing slip for each sale. That includes pretty much the order number and what the customer bought. The paper itself is going to be worth a penny, and you're going to have to add some ink to that as well. So that's a few cents more, but we'll ignore that for now. And finally, you're going to want to put your top loader itself in a team bag. That's going to run you 2 cents. Again, if you buy in large quantities, if you buy in smaller quantities, that could easily set you 4 or 5 cents. So if you add all this up, it doesn't seem like much, but if you're, again, adding this per sale, it actually adds up to quite a bit. You're going to be seeing a fixed cost of $1.20 with a variable cost of around 13%. Now we can go back to the fact that a lot of these really low ticket item sales are going to be very harmful to you. So this is the total amount that you see. I made a new calculated column based off of the total amount. So all this data was exported from TCGplayer. So this column multiplies the actual amount the customer pays by 87 cents to adjust for the variable fee, and then subtracts the fixed fee to see how much money you really left, after a sale. And this doesn't even include the product amount. So you can see the actual break even in terms of the platform and the supplies is around 39 cents. Every time a customer buys any item that's less than 39 cents, you're losing actual money by processing that transaction, and you're losing that card itself. So this is the break even, not including the card. So really, when you break even here, you just lost your 39-cent card. The actual point of break even is going to be a little more subjective. Most card stores are able to source their cards for about half the price that's going for on TCGplayer. So half of 90 cents is going to be 45 cents. So really, you can argue that 90 cents is going to be your true break-even point. So that includes all your platform fees, your logistics and shipping fees, as well as the cost of the card itself. But this does not account for the cost of labor, which you then have to add in. If you're paying somebody, depending on where you are, that could be 10, 12, 15 bucks, depending on how much you want to pay the guy. If you're doing it yourself, you have to consider the opportunity cost. You could be doing something else you want to be doing, something more fun, or you can be working a second job for money. So the real break-even point is likely a lot higher. When you include volume in this, again, things scales. So if you get really good at it, I'm sure it could be profitable. But being a card store itself is a lot harder than what I initially expected, and I hope you can see why based off of this breakdown of some of the costs. So with all that, I'll wrap up the video. Before I let you go, guys, I just want to let you know I've been trying to make use of myself during my period of unemployment. One of the things I decided on doing was starting a blog. I typically write about different subjects that are important to me, and then I try to produce a video on it. So if you enjoyed this video and want to read more about it, I will include a link to this blog in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you well. Take care.